San Francisco. It definitely had a lot of heart in it, and I think the music, the vibe, when I first started watching it, it seemed very 80s, the vibe. It had this really nice up-tempo, a lot of energy behind the music to follow the images of San Francisco. You're seeing all of these very iconic scenes of the city by the bay. And you're going through like Pier 39 and Fisherman's Wharf and everything like that. And it was just gorgeous. There was a moment where the music changed, and I felt like it took a turn into the 90s where it became a little bit more EDM music, which was very, very cool. And you started seeing other areas of the city by the bay where it was like all of a sudden it was street performers and a lot of the beautiful street art, the murals that are there. Everything that makes San Francisco was in this film. And it was done with a lot of heart, a lot of love, and you could see painstakingly how much effort was put into this. It was great.
Played out like a love letter to San Francisco and other parts of the Bay Area as well, but mostly San Francisco. That was the sort of the main player in this tale. I really like the music right off the bat. The music sounded like one of those Giorgio Moroder cuts from the Scarface soundtrack. I really dug that. And obviously all the shots of the cityscapes were outstanding. It seemed like they were all shot through a filter, which made everything stand out that much more, made the colors more vibrant. It made sort of the whole city really shine through. And I also like that the filmmaker put a lot of spotlight on the street art that can be found in San Fran and other parts, because the street art that's like its own culture basically. I think the sequence though that I enjoyed the most was when they went to that Giants and A's game. They're in different conferences, so they only face each other once every few years, but it was special that they got to capture that moment, and you could see like the Bay Area rivalry between those two cities really showed. Really enjoyed City by the Bay.
It's a very beautiful, homage to San Francisco. I really enjoyed this. I love the music. I love ambient music like this, and the thing that's really appropriate about the whole thing is obviously this kind of neo-futuristic ambient music is kind of meant for cities, and so we got a lot of really beautiful footage, kind of touring San Francisco here and hitting a lot of the highlights. And I loved it when it faded to nightfall at the end. The whole thing was just very beautiful, and it's been a little while since I've visited San Francisco. It's been a few years, so it kind of made me want to go take another long weekend up there again. So it was a very beautiful piece, very nicely done. Like I said, music and everything, the footage and everything was really wonderful. I love that just a couple of people put all this together and made a very lovely film, that I really enjoyed watching. So great job with this. I hope it gets out there and gets seen, because you did a great job. It's very beautiful.
Absolutely loved the sweeping shots capturing the pace and rhythms of the city and its vibrancy, which I thought paralleled the music excellently. The shoegaze expansiveness really captured the diversity of the city and like the wide open freedom of the city surrounded by gorgeous views. But it also, the tech beats really captured like the tech world of San Francisco, and that pulsing, driving force underneath the city of movement and of evolution of technology. I love the vibrancy of the colors and the saturation to encompass the street art, which paralleled against the music scene, the architecture, the religious buildings. The shot of the cars driving down the infamous curved street I thought was stellar. And overall, this just brought that feeling of being in San Francisco for me, with that sense of adventure, of not knowing what's going to turn what you're going to turn onto on the next street, and every ounce of that juxtapositional energy that is San Francisco. And it fed that sightseeing drive and yearning in me during another lockdown. So I'm very grateful for that.
An outstanding collection of urban scenery, buildings, streets, graffiti, wall murals, nightlife, parks, people just going on with their lives in restaurants, public transportation, sports and music events. It's just a great tribute to the city, also showcasing some of the port scenery, with a background electronic music just repeating itself throughout the film. It's just a great tribute, I guess, to the city and all the different phases of it during the different times of it.
I'm left thinking about the word action and the city that never sleeps. And I think that this felt like a stream of consciousness showing San Francisco, comprehensively. Its art, its people, the contrast between its nature and the concrete jungle, and that it really never stops moving. And I felt like the film showed the city as a living, breathing organism with all of these different aspects in motion. And I think that the music complemented that really well because it was steady and relentless at the same time.
This is a review of City by the Bay. I'm a little biased here. I might not be the best person to review this because I'm from San Francisco and I loved everything about this. I really loved it. It felt like home to me. I loved the music. I thought it really captured the energy of my city. I loved these little snippets of moments of time in the city, across the board. You really captured it. Everything from the Mission District to the Palace of Fine Arts to Coit Tower to, the Bay Bridge and the beach. And it's so fabulous. I love it so much. I'm so happy I got to see this because it really just made me feel like I was back home. It was awesome. So thank you so much for making it. Thank you for shooting it so beautifully, for cutting it so well. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous little piece, and I love it very much. So congratulations.